Here. Senator Biagini. Here. PPT Clemens is excused. Senator Cochran. Here. Senator Conley.
Here.
Graphic designer Ty.
Here.
Senator Sobolski.
Here.
Chair Dixon is excused. Treasurer Fell.
Here.
Chief of Staff Gary is excused. Recording Secretary Hildebrand. Here. Senator Lori's.
Here.
Comms Director Lucero.
Here.
Senator Mahone will be late, but we will have to hold on voting until he gets here, because that's important. Senator Montgomery is excused. Senator Polizka is excused. President Rangel. Senator Roberts. Senator Sharafi is excused. Senator Shepard is excused. Parliamentary break.
Here.
All right. So, first we're going to look at last week's minutes. So, last week we talked about the governance summit, and we introduced an initiative. We had a couple of reports from standing committees on the poll results. We also heard from a lot of our senators, which I'd love to hear. And then we finished up some old business, finished up some new business, and talked a little longer and stuck it on the floor. So would anyone like to motion to approve last week's minutes? Senator Conley, would anyone like to second? Senator Cochran? All right, moving on to this week's agenda. This week we have President Rangel is going to be talking about elections coming up. I'm going to be continuing talking about my initiative. We also have some reports from Parliamentary Break, as well as our comms director, or our DEI director was supposed to have a report, but we do not have any report on that unless someone from the committee can't find that one. And then we have Finance Committee has an emergency funding request. We have 2 reports from senators and 2 pieces of new business to as well as a question.
From the DEI report, is that the superior advocacy dates?
Yeah.
I can do my best to talk about it.
Yeah, there's that, and then also anything that you discussed in Dewey Committee. So if you would like to take that, that would be wonderful. Would anyone like to motion to approve the agenda for today? Senator Conley, would anyone like to second? Senator Sobolski? All right. So first open floor. Does anyone have anything to discuss for our first open floor? Love. So for the executive reports, we're going to be starting with President Rangel.
So last Wednesday, me and Kiwi had a impromptu one-on-one. Well, it was basically our meeting. It was just us. So we talked a little bit about elections, transitional material, and a bunch of stuff like that. Speaking of elections, elections are soon, so don't forget to vote on that. With elections here, we plan on moving them up, so just to give more transitionary time to new members, new elected senators. So I'm going to put together probably an elections ad hoc committee here soon to focus on that, because there's a lot of work to do with that, especially with the new schedule and everything. We start later and like May 8th. And in the Kiwi meeting, we focused on transitional reports. So we might do that over like winter break, right before winter break. Clarify position roles, maybe make a template for transitionary materials, and then the positions can add on top of that, so it's more standardized. The exec cab could come back early to work on some things for the new semester as well. Like learning from mistakes from this semester, a quick refresher, and what's coming spring semester. I know CAB does that and all that, so we could possibly look into that. Oh, yeah. The billiard accessories, like we got the new cues and the cue stands ready. We also got new paddles. So as soon as our graphic designer makes the sign, we're going to put that up and display it for everyone in the Boulevard lobby. So expect that soon. And that's it.
So just an update on the initiative that I presented last week. This week I plan to make a Slack channel for it so that way people can officially get involved.
hearing officer would be notified. Then from there, they would have to go to people's sale and like kind of like get to like why this happened, how come it doesn't happen again. From there, if it happens again, the remaining officers can go to sale and appeal for each of my officer because the officers are not removed. Any that they just don't respond or like just like aren't responsible at all, then like automatic removal if there's no meeting or no notification or something like that. There is none. So we introduced one. The only thing I saw one was the introduction of clubs on campus, unless it's an association, which I don't think really cool, but there's still the process of like getting their signatures and making sure that they're going to meet properly. And then the other one is the PPU Catholic Club, which is going on today.
Pediatric Nixon is not here, so if Senator Hoffman would like to take it away.
So during our DEI meeting, we talked about a couple of initiatives we've been working on. Senator Montgomery finalized the design for our SGA's suggestion boxes, which we also talked about using for like discussion between anonymous, things like that. I submitted all printing materials to sale and then also discussed permanent signage for either the glass cases or digital signage with Dewey Chair, Dixon, and then sale. And then Senator Frank was unable to attend, but I was still working on creating communication between all like related clubs or other clubs like that for the cultural capacity of the year, essentially. And then, as an update for student peer advocacy, we finally received a response on possibly following up with a permanent meeting. However, we also learned that some individuals that are involved with the conservatory had already sent another email. So we're kind of working on either inviting or handing that off, and we'll see how that's going to work moving forward with both us and the
President is also not here, but I'm interested in talking about cross-communication between clubs. So that's something that's going to be studied and hopefully implemented soon through PPT plans. Next we have the committee reports. So starting with comms, we have the full results. Let me pull up my little notes thing here. So last week we did the SGA poll, the SGA engagement poll. So we had done a general poll for like clubs and stuff, but it would be helpful people or to know what people like know about us or think about us. So we had about, I want to say it was like 21 consistently responses across all three, or I think it was like 4 or 5 questions. I posted them a little later in the day, so I think the engagement was probably on my part. But 21 responses is still not bad. 57% of people said that they've heard about SGA via word of mouth. So I guess just keep talking about SGA, keep telling people like what you do here, or how they can get involved. 83% of people got the question, what does SGA do correct? Even with the question visible on the screen, so it's a little bit concerning because the answer is right there and people still don't know. Some people thought that we were like advocating for, or like we were a voice for the staff or administration, which in some ways we are, but obviously that's like not our whole goal. I asked if people had been to an SGA meeting before. We had 8 yeses and 11 no's. Of the no's, 33% said that they did not know when meetings were happening. So I put the meeting time on the post as well. I was like, oh, hopefully they like keep it going. 25% are busy or have class, and then 42% are just generally not interested in SGA. So at least we know. We didn't get any responses to the open-ended question again this time, which is okay. I still think it's important to have it just so that somebody does have something to say. And then we did get 13 yeses to our town hall meeting that we'll be having on November 18th. It's sort of, well, it doesn't have a theme. It's just people can come and complain about this. Well, yeah, I just felt like there's no like, it's not like an event theme, but yeah, the topic is just come to this town hall meeting, tell us what you do and don't like about about certain things on campus. But the event, like branding, I guess, is Gilmore Girls, Luke Steiner specifically. So we're having a continental breakfast. We're gonna have Polinar do that for us. And yeah, it's just gonna be fun to complain and have free breakfast. So I don't know who wouldn't want to come to that. But anyways, for our Friday weekly roundup as well, we didn't get to touch base with our exec board to be able to put that out. So we're not going to do it this Friday either because it's Halloween. Who cares? Nobody's going to read that. We're just going to put out a little thing on Halloween saying like Happy Halloween for SGA, stay safe, have fun. But then we'll hopefully pick that back up next week, next Friday, and host our roundup then. I think that's it this week. We're doing we figured it wasn't worth it to ask any like important questions this week because it's Halloween weekend, nobody's going to be paying attention. So we're just asking fun Halloween questions like what's the worst candy of all time, popcorn balls, wax lips, black licorice, that kind of thing. So yeah, it'll just be fun. If Tatum has anything bad, that was all I got. Okay, good. And then finance.
Cool. So we did receive an emergency funding request from the Asian American Pacific Islanders. This was outside of the main allocated time for emergency funding requests, but we still have funding for it. They requested $115 for a annual holiday event that they do. Most of the request goes towards some food items. I wanted to get a soda pack, some little chicken lo mein and vegetarian options, as well as some snacks. I recommend that we approve it. Finance committee all got the chance to review it and was positive towards that as well. Yeah, someone wants to go back.
But we still send our reports, right? Why are we talking about reports?
Oh, no, I was talking about voting to vote for this,
Oh, yeah.
but we can just.
We're not voting yet.
Okay, that's all.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Cochran and Senator Roberts, for filling out their reports. Thank you so much. So if either of you two would like to start to get this kicked off.
Mine is like continuation. But then I and then I just reached out to someone within the registrar as far as how we can improve schedule for next semester, and also
So I continued communication with the sale office and then to finish printing advertising materials, especially with Dewey. And then I also talked about permanent or semi-permanent digital signage, glass case stuff with Chair Dixon. And then contacted sales to see if that could be a possibility. And then also I contacted Alex Yargo, and then eventually I took out getting a response from Ariane, who was the head of the theater club, to then now communicate how that's going to work with student theater advocacy and then these other leaders of student theater, which I will then be bringing up in this week's Dewey meeting. And then, yeah, for next week, I plan to finish advertising, finish this communication with sale for permanent signage, try to finish working on this stuff for student advocacy, and then start working on the practice room registration initiative.
Do any other senators have anything? All right. So now with that, we are moving to new business. So since we do not have quorum, we're going to take a 10-minute recess. I'm going to call Senator see if he's on his way. If not, we'll push this next week. And if he is, then we'll come back in minutes and we'll go on this. Okay? All right. Thank you, Jason. We resume from our recess. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that officially. That's what I'm doing. All right, the first thing that we're talking about is the Catholic Code Constitution. So I would like to motion to discuss. Senator Senator Skolsky. All right, so this is the constitution of the PPU Catholic crew. Does anyone have anything to say about it? Senator Skolsky?
I'm really just confused. This just sounds like a group of people that hang out together, which is pretty much what a club is, I guess. But like, what are they actually like?
Parliamentary.
Well, their aims are like listed, like attending mass together, volunteering at local Catholic churches and shelters, participating in rosary walks, which are very faith-based events. For more on the approval, I would direct you over to Julie because she has approved this club, and one of her main criteria is why can't this be a club? Like, why should this be a club instead of just a group of people? But they are like a faith-based club, and they already have multiple faith-based clubs on campus, and you are very easily there are groups of people who hang out together. So I don't see any reason why this should be approved. It looks pretty good to me.
Anything else? I don't understand, like, I know we have multiple, I don't understand how religious clubs are allowed if it's supposed to be open to every single member. Does that make sense? Because it is, I understand that it is open to every person in the university, but it's also like not because it's a religion, right? So I don't understand.
No, I mean, the idea is that anybody can go to mass, right? Like, I'm not saying anybody would, but arguably, if you join this group, and one of the things is that they attend mass, anybody can go to a Catholic mass. You don't have to just be Catholic. So, and all the other things that they do. So, as long as they don't exclude anybody from being a part of the organization, then just because it follows one religion over another, that's not the concern.
I've just never understood.
Yeah.
I don't, that's just.
The only thing that they have, and if you go to the event page, you can go, if you look at section 3, it does say that members should have a sincere engagement with the Roman Catholic faith, but like, I feel like that makes sense to have. If you are going to look at faith-based club, you should probably have like a interest in learning more, which I don't think that's like excluding anyone, because if you're attending like mass, you like or excluding you guys with the Catholic club, you would have largely have an interest in Catholicism. And it's not like excluding your interest, but you should have an interest, not that you have to have an interest.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Catholicism. I'm just gonna come to mass.
Yeah.
You guys.
Other than that,
All right. All those in favor of approving the Catholic crew constitution as is, please raise your hands. All those opposed? All those abstained? It does not pass. No, it doesn't pass. We need 7 to pass, and then we just had 6 yeses.
We need 7. 7 is quorum, right?
7 is quorum because you need the entirety of quorum to pass it. That's why it's quorum.
I thought you just
you need the entirety of the vote on it. You just need a majority vote to approve.
Yeah, but quorum is the majority of the voting population. That's why it's quorum. Am I wrong?
You need 7 people to vote in order to be at quorum, but how they vote. You don't need 7 people to vote yes.
Okay.
You have to have quorum. So whatever, if 7 is what it takes to have quorum,
Okay.
then those 7 people have to vote. As long as they vote, whatever the result of that vote is the answer.
Okay, so we don't count the other people as no's?
No, they're not here to
Okay.
vote, so.
Okay, so we're only counting the. It passes!
Follow-up question though, because Senator Spolsky didn't vote no, she abstained, which means she didn't vote. So does that
She did
mean?
take part in the vote.
But she did take part.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
She was just a neutral.
Right, gotcha.
As long as it wasn't a no. Well, even then it doesn't matter. As long as you're at quorum and the majority of people vote yes, then it passes.
Okay, with 6 yeses and 1 abstention, this constitution does pass. My bad. Would anyone like to motion to discuss the second constitution, which I have to sign back in, or the emergency funding, which I have to sign back in for? Senator Cochran, would anyone like to second? Senator Conley. All right. Is it just this one sheet, Sam?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have anything to discuss? We DoorDash? We do DoorDash? Yeah. Okay. That kind of is like,
The way they had it set up was.
it's like to,
Restaurant.
yeah. It doesn't say which restaurant.
There's nothing to say. It does.
It does say which restaurant, okay. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving AAPI's Fall 2 emergency funding request? All those in opposed? All those abstain? All right, it passes unanimously. Does anyone have anything for our second item on the floor? Senator Lynch?
As I said in Slack, circulating a petition regarding a new AI staff member and the university's in progress creation of an AI policy. That is all.
Anything else for a second on the floor?
Oh, I wanted to mention that I know for a fact someone from Ghostlight has already reached out to Bianca in regards to student leader advocacy. So I would like to check in with Bianca in regards to.
However, we talked about it a little bit at our meeting. And also there's a whole separate, just those like, there's like, a lot of people who were on the executive board bridges last year, we already reached out with like a time, in specific like plan to meet link, that said that's such long. And then, and down reaching out to us, being like, hey, just fill this out. So I think right now, there's a current, like, are we gonna either hand it over, or is the goal to kind of like also do this through? But there's also tax needs to be considered as well, but there's a lot of people trying to work on the same thing right now, so there's some things we have to talk about.
Yeah, no, okay. I just wanted to say, hey,
Yeah.
so Ghostlight had already got in touch.
So to you two, for student leader advocacy, do you think that's something that we should continue to oversee, or do you think that's something we can combine with, or pass off, or what do you think? That's something some of our senators have taken an interest in and just started an ad hoc.
Who would it be passed on to?
So at the beginning of this year, we started an ad hoc committee with, me, PPT Clemens, Senator Montgomery, and then Duty Chair Dixon. We all made an ad hoc committee for student theater advocacy, and we met with Keisha and Juan at the Playhouse. And it was a pretty successful meeting, and we talked about making a permanent meeting time, like monthly or bi-weekly or something like that. However, after the meeting, we never got a response from the Playhouse in regards to setting a permanent meeting time. But eventually we found out that some other student theater leaders around that time ended up reaching out to Juan, discussing creating a permanent meeting time, that they wanted to start meeting with him. So around the same time that right after we had our meeting, they reached out as well. So it's kind of like we're discussing either joining that, since we've been sent the link of when to meet and all those meeting times and everything, or just generally handing it off to this other group of individuals. And I think that's something we'll discuss the next thing, but so I'm moving.
My opinion truly is that it is up to you all whether, if you believe you need to stay invested to ensure that things are moving along, then yes, stay involved. That's sort of your responsibility. But if you believe you've brought the concern to the university and there's a group of students working that had the concern and they're working with the university on that, and you believe that's going well, then yes, you have the right to sort of step back because you've done what you ultimately wanted to do, was to make sure that students got connected with a certain department to get their needs. Now, if in the end that doesn't work out and they come back to you and say, we met and it's still not going anywhere or we're not getting what we want, then you could arguably jump back in. So it truly is up to you whether or not you think right now your support is needed.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
So was the goal to find a new space and create that contract, or was the space to
I
connect
think
students?
the goal kind of changed after the meeting. I think the initial goal was to discuss the concerns of student theater companies specifically that spacing. But after that kind of talked, and it also became sort of we just want to discuss not only those issues and work on that, but also generally able to raise the concerns of the conservatory student body and things like that. And we kind of talked a lot about finding space, and we have some ideas and concepts. So I think we can for sure see that groups. I'm not sure if that's something that the other group is looking at, or just bring concerns. I think we need to discuss with them what their goals are and compare them to what our current ones were, and see where that lines up. Because our initial goal was to find space, and we kind of did somewhat discuss that and somewhat find a solution. But I think there's some more work we can just finish at least finishing what we intended to do and see where it lands with that.
Yeah. Okay, anything else to discuss for us? I don't know. How's it going to go?
Senator Roberts, you mentioned scheduling. Is that for, in terms of registering for new classes?
Yeah.
I would probably reach out to Angelo and the UAC and just know that's the spot is the registering. So I'll send you over there.
Yeah. For the the scheduling, we're talking about like those visual scheduling blocks, that way you can still see like all your schedule lined up. Because it used to be something that was available to pretty honest conversation. I don't know how to get up there. Do you guys know why it went away? No?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Was it the website Angela started out with, and it was like a year?
I'm sorry, that's what I know.
Do you think Angela might?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Perfect. Is that our second on the floor? Anyone? Bueller? I like the PowerPoints. Announcements. We have a costume contest to do. So if anyone who is in costume, would please come on up and line up.
You may become a costume.
Yeah. Where'd you get up here?
Yes, Christian, you're also a costume. Costume. You, the student. They're going to like stagger.
Okay, do you guys want me to introduce you, or do you want to introduce yourselves? You. Okay. Okay. Please step forward when I introduce your host. First, we have a bar wench demon. Next, we have a bat. Next, we have Miku Binder Thomas Jefferson. Now we have Pam and Jim, 3-hole punch Jim, and a cat. And then there's one who speaks for itself. Okay, what are you? Oh, I'm just goth. So if you guys, if you would like to compete, please raise your hands. We're all winners.
We're all winners.
I think I'm gonna say Chris Versailles wins. Okay, well.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you want people's vote too? People's choice? Okay. Bar wench. Bat. Miku Binder Thomas Jefferson. Pam and Jim. Chris Versailles. Go Pioneers! I think it was a tie.
It was our sixth.
This is where you guys are going. Yeah, okay. Next, we have 2 more announcements and then we're out of here. And if anyone else has anything to announce, please do that too. So, on November 5th, we're going to do senior soccer night and a pep rally. So this is to support Comms Director Tatum. So this is going to be super fun. We're going to start in Village Park around 3. That's going to be going until like 4, I think. That's a pep rally with the whole school. I think it's super important that we are all there to get pep, because we've got people from all different like schools, different majors, background. We've got athletics, we've got theater, we've got business, we've got everything. So I think it's really important that we all show up for this pep rally. And then if you can't even make it to the pep rally, please show up to the soccer game, which is at 5 p.m. across the bridge at Network Stadium in Station Square. We will all be walking over together for a pep rally. It's going to be super fun.
What day is this?
This is next Wednesday, November 5th.
Okay.
All right, so that's that announcement. Yeah. And then enjoy pouring your pots tomorrow. Please have a good break. I know I need it. So if does anyone else have anything to announce? All right.